Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the reunion of Final Fantasy VII Remake podcast. I am your host, Kai, and joining me once again today is my incredible co-host, Vyzz. How are you doing, Vyzz?
I'm doing fantastic, and I'm tired at the same time. No, seriously, I didn't really anticipate so much new stuff last
Right?
Thursday on State of Play, and it threw everything into the garbage bin. Now I had to rearrange my plans again.
Right? Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel the same way as well. I'm feeling just tired from work, but then also super excited at the same time to kind of get more information about this next, I guess, edition of the remake. And with all the information that we got at the State of Play, I've just been super excited and just, I don't know how to explain it. I just kind of want the next like 3 months to just fast forward so I can just play this.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
obviously, first I have to find a PS5, and we're going to talk a little bit about that a little later in today's episode. So I just want to go ahead and remind everybody the best way to support us here is to like, sub, and share the podcast. If you have not done so, hop on over to our YouTube channel and subscribe. You can also sub us on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts, because we are literally on all podcast streaming platforms. Also, don't forget to check us out on Twitter as well. I've been pretty active on there, retweeting and sharing more information about this new edition, I guess, of Final Fantasy VII Remake. And also, we will be doing some incredible giveaways. So the best way to, I guess, be up to date on all of that is to follow us on Twitter. All right, Vyzz, so what's been going on over at Cosmo Canyon Observatory?
Internally, a lot. On the channel, not so much because of the shuffling around. So, but what was happening is around a week ago, there was a community event on Sunday, 21st of February. It was kind of in general a Final Fantasy VII Remake award. Like we did a survey where people could vote on best materia, best non-human character, best male, best female character, what have you. It's pretty interesting, and I thought, well, Kudakuma and Peeps Nibbles did everything, and I thought, well, it would be a cool event, cool community event, and a little bit of a show, and they already also created a edited video, which we watched. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, but then at halftime in the middle, they inserted a completely new and something that I was completely unaware of, a new sequence, which was dedicated to my birthday, which was on the 22nd, on Monday.
Yes.
Yeah. So there were a few birthday wishes, some text-based, an image, a poem, and some just video messages of community members. But that was not all. There was more. Like from not just from the CCO community, but the Final Fantasy VII Remake community overall, and even someone very special, someone who took part in the remake itself. But you'd have to watch to know who. I don't want to spoil everything here, so it's on our channel, the whole show, just the edited video. Not the show itself. Like we recorded also our the awards show in Discord. Maybe we'll release a highlights version at some other point, but this will be done by other people from our community, not myself, because I don't really have any time for that. I'm already short in time as it is, but this was really, really awesome. I had no words when this happened. I shut up. I listened. I reacted in the text channel, but that was it. And afterwards, I just tried to collect my thoughts and tried to convey what I felt, but it was really difficult. And I'm so grateful for all those involved. I also thanked each and everyone personally. It was really fun. I've never thought this would happen. I also didn't think that I was so much appreciated. It was a really good feeling. Yeah. Also, at the very end of the presentation of the awards, there was also a cool cover cover of Hollow, sang by yours truly, my lovely co-host Kairosis.
Yay!
Hey. Audio only is on Reunion Podcast channel, and
Yeah.
the music video, edited by the amazing Remake, is on our CCO channel, which is pretty good. Really, really nice choice of scenes. I love it.
Yeah, so I thought it was amazing. I was so excited to be there because I was there. I was able to experience it live. It was so much fun, honestly. Probably the most fun that I've had in a long time, to be honest with you. I haven't really been able to hang out with my friends in my normal like social circle outside of, you know, everything that I'm doing in my like real, you know, life or whatever. And it was just so awesome to be able to be there and experience it with everybody live, and to see, I guess, hear your reaction, because it was just it was amazing. And also it was a secret, and I was like, Peeps Nibbles asked me to be part of it, and I was like, absolutely. So then she was just telling me about the idea of everything, and I thought it was so awesome and so thoughtful, and
Oh, it was.
I just wanted to be a part of it, absolutely. And then there was a description, I think, on the invitation that was sent out that had said like, oh, there probably won't be any award-winning musicians or whatever. And I was like, excuse me, excuse me. I was like, no. There will be music, and I will do it, and that's fine. And also, it was your birthday. So then I was like, I might as well just do Hollow as a cover and surprise you for your birthday. And also, it'll be music for the show, which I thought was super fitting. And I was trying to figure out what song to sing, because there's not every Final Fantasy has a theme song with vocals in it. But then I was like, I'm just going to do Hollow because it's from Remake, and that's what we've been doing. This is what our podcast is about. And also with CCO and everything, I just thought it was super applicable to the situation. So I'm so glad you liked it. And Rima honestly outdid herself with the music video. It's so great. It was so awesome. And yeah, it was just a lot of fun. Like, everybody did such an amazing job with the events, everybody that was involved. I did write a list of names, but honestly, I know that I'm going to forget people, so I just don't want to even like say
don't even
individually
start
because but honestly, it was a lot of fun. I'm so glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did. It was so great. As I said before, I only expected a little award show, something to start off with. Maybe we'll do something similar in a year or something. But no, they went in guns blazing.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, that was that. And then there's my current plan. The thing is, I already planned an addendum to our Aerith analysis, which I wanted to say a few more things and show a few more details I found over time. I already finished it. It was ready to render and upload on Thursday when State of Play happened. And then I thought, well, I can't just upload this one now, because people now expect me to analyze FF7R Intergrade and Yuffie DLC, and are not interested in Aerith stuff. So okay, let's put that on the back burner as well, and then jump right into the analysis of the new stuff, which I'm still doing now. Whole weekend, no breaks, no nothing. Yeah. That's life of CCO.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's fun. We also did a master analysis round for $16 patrons and above, which consists of just people in voice chat. We're talking about the footage. I tell them what I found, they tell me what they found. We go through the footage and talk about things, and maybe find new things. It was pretty cool. It's really interesting. And yeah, this is planned to be a rough analysis, because a completely scripted, recorded, and edited analysis video will take too long and will be more than one video. So rough analysis is just me talking, kind of like a live stream, but not quite, because I probably just cut out bigger gaffes if it disturbs the flow. But I try not to edit too much, just most. of it. Like I record also the image I show, kind of a live show, kind of like I did before Remake came out. I already created a few rough analysis videos, but with much better preparation this time. And the addendum for the Aerith analysis is also in that vein, in that with that concept in mind. I hope it will turn out good, because I'm not really that versed in free talking as some might see or hear here on the podcast. Sometimes it works out well, sometimes my brain just melts away and I don't really know what to say and how to phrase words and sentences. It really depends. So it's, but maybe if I keep doing this, maybe it will get better in the future. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, and after that, I still aim to finish the script about Cloud and Sephiroth's role in the remake. And then multiple videos will be recorded and edited. And some more Final Fantasy 16 in between. So there's a lot for the next 2 months.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that it won't be too long until we get more information about Intergrade, and then, put everything on hold again for that. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I guess everybody has already figured out what we are going to be talking about today. We are talking about Final Fantasy VII Remake news. Obviously, Sony had a state of play, and they had announced at the very end Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. So what we're going to be doing today is we're just going to be giving our first impressions, I guess, about this news about Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. We are going to be as well talking about the Yuffie DLC, our impressions about that, some brief story ideas about the DLC, like what it could potentially encompass. And I guess there were also some reveals from the compilation games that were shown in the trailer as well. So we'll be talking about that. We will also be talking about all the different multiple versions of the game available for purchase. I'm just going to try to break it down for everybody so it's a little bit easier to understand, because it's really confusing with the upgrading and the DLC and the all that stuff. So hopefully I'll be able to simplify it for you. Also, we'll be talking about Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis and the First Soldier mobile games that were announced. That's pretty much it. So let's dive in. All right, so like I just said, Sony State of Play has happened this past Thursday. At the very end, we got a Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade announcement, which honestly, I was super surprised actually that we got an announcement, just because, I'll tell you why, because the rumors about the quote-unquote definitive edition were about, they basically had said that we were getting this, there was going to be an announcement in February, and the only thing that we knew of that was scheduled was the orchestra performance, and obviously that didn't happen, right? And then after the orchestra performance, I think it was a week or two, about a week after, I think we got the State of Play announcement, then I started to think, oh, okay, so this is more of the kind of event where something like this would be announced. I feel like, looking back, an orchestra performance that was limited to only Japan, like I feel like probably wasn't the best place to do that.
Yeah.
And so, but I was a little disappointed because we didn't get anything at the orchestra performance, that I was kind of trying not to think about the State of Play that much, because I didn't want to set myself up for a disappointment. And a lot of people online on Twitter were thinking like, oh, I can feel it in my bones. Like, we're getting it. Like, this is it. We're getting it at the State of Play, blah, blah, blah. And I was kind of made a joke like, guys, I'm not saying anything. I'm not commenting on it. I'm just going to let it be and see what happens, because maybe then we might actually get something. And then sure enough, we did get an announcement at the very end of the State of Play, which I was absolutely blown away. I was like, no, like what? Like it was kind of like how the announcement for the game the first time, like way back when we got that trailer, the first one, obviously not the same, but I still was super excited, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that we're actually getting new remake news and content, basically. And they surprised us, because at first I thought, oh, it was just, the visual upgrade for the PS5 that we kind of knew was coming down the line anyway. We just didn't know when. But then they announced that it's coming with, I guess it's bundled with, it depends. It's bundled with the DLC. It's a Yuffie episode that's releasing on June 10th, which isn't that much longer. It's only like 3 months away. 3 months and a few weeks, I think, which isn't that long. And yeah, I was actually super surprised that we're getting story content as a DLC.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I'm surprised and I'm not. Like, I'm surprised that they are going this route and they're giving us story as DLC, which we kind of talked about Vyzz on previous episodes where we were kind of like, we didn't really want like purchasable little episodes of DLC story. But this is kind of bundled with Intergrade, the new edition of the game, and I feel like they probably felt like they had to give us something more than just a visual upgrade to kind of entice people to buy the PS5 version of the game. I think that was part of the reason as well. And there was probably ideas for things that they wanted to do that they couldn't fit into the first game that they thought should still be released. Not necessarily talking about the cut Tifa story that was cut that wasn't given to us, basically. But yeah, so I'm super excited. I can't wait to play this. I love Yuffie so much as a character. We've talked about this before. I love her character design actually in this, and it looks like they've taken her Dirge of Cerberus like character model and updated it, because she also wore like a Moogle, what would you call that? Like a Moogle garb
or cloak,
Moogle
I guess.
cloak, cape.
Yeah. Cape cloak
thing as well in Dirge of Cerberus. So it's kind of giving me Dirge of Cerberus vibes.
But only
it
the
looks
cloak.
so amazing.
Yeah,
only the cloak.
Yeah.
Yes. But I'm so excited for this. And honestly, like if they zoomed in on her sweater at one point, okay, with the upgraded textures, you can see like a fuzzy texture
it's really
on her
fuzzy,
sweater. I was like, whoa, like the detail is so crazy. Like you can actually see the texture on her sweater. I was like, oh my God. Anyway, I'm super excited.
Yeah, even her Moogle hoodie, the Moogle nose and the pom-pom, however you call this, is so fuzzy red. And even the thread that goes through her hoodie, through the hoodie border, I guess you say that, it's really extremely detailed. It looks so good.
So I believe them when they're saying, we're getting these upgraded textures, which is what we wanted. And in the trailer, I thought the trailer was really well done, but I love the trailer when it's just like textures.
Yeah.
Like the word textures just come in, and then it's like showing you like a left to right comparison. But yet they did not show the textures of the doors.
Nope, they didn't. Because they knew if they did, everyone would even those who didn't know yet would know, oh, the doors were terrible.
I just thought it would be actually ridiculous if they just, for the textures, they didn't show us anything. They only showed us the doors.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have been so funny.
Definitely.
But also
kind of like
really
a meme.
cool. Yeah, like a meme. Like I feel like they could have snuck that in. Like they could have showed us the rest, but they could have just showed us like that door.
Kind of like the effect when Cloud, or after Cloud jumps down at the train, and then the whole screen crashes into a million pieces, and we see the improved version. Kind of the same, like you see the ugly door, maybe even the music goes down, and then super high def doors.
Oh my God, that would have been so cool. It would have been so, like, I don't know, meme worthy. They would have had so many memes. Anyway, it's too bad they didn't, but I feel like it was a missed opportunity. But they haven't showed us the upgraded doors, so imagine that they don't. I mean, the door textures were there. It was just obviously like an LOD issue, right? Like it didn't load.
Sure, yeah.
But I feel like they made the decision for it not to load because it could have been that there were textures that were giving them issues and there were frame rate issues. So they axed it last minute or whatever. I don't know. But I'm hoping now we're getting all of them. Like I hope that there's not anything that's going to be, you know what I mean? Like kind of taken away from us, like whether it's quality or I don't know, like lighting or textures or whatever. And it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like
Well, at least it was smooth enough and probably almost always, a smooth 30 FPS, I guess. And
Yeah.
I have a feeling that this was their main goal. Have a smooth performance. If some textures don't look as great, well, we can live with that. We need performance.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure. And I
Yeah.
also love how they will give us two options. Either always 4K resolution, prioritize
Mm-hmm.
this, or prioritize always
The
60
frame rate.
FPS.
Yeah. I feel like this game is going to benefit from 60 FPS
Yes.
because the action is so fast.
Mhm.
And I feel like the smoother it is, the better. And I know that it matters more for, like esports games
Mhm.
like Overwatch and, COD or other shooters.
Fighting games.
Yeah, as well. Like you want to have that reaction time, as quick as possible.
Mhm.
I do feel like this game is going to benefit from the 60 FPS for sure. I'm probably going to play it on the performance mode. I will want to try out the resolution mode or whatever they're calling it. I forget now.
I think I don't remember.
Yeah, it's okay. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I'm just excited to be able to play this game again. And I didn't finish my hard playthrough on the PS4 version, and luckily the save file can transfer.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to it because it's gonna be able to like kind of bring me back into the game, give me a reason to play it. Give me a reason, not only just the Yuffie DLC, like I want to play it for that, but also it's gonna bring me back because I want to like finish my hard playthrough. And now it's kind of like, okay, it's just sealed the deal. Like I have to go back. I have to play the hard playthrough, but on the PS5 version to get the best experience and the best, smoothest frame rate, which is super exciting. But I need a PS5. I don't have one yet. So we have, neither do you. So we have the next 3 months to get one.
Yeah.
Because I want to play this immediately, like as soon as it releases. So hopefully I'll be able to find one by then. But
I might get lucky this week if there's a new batch. So I'll refresh several pages of several online retailers here in Switzerland and hope that they are in stock again and then immediately order. Because last week I was a bit too late, and my friend also, he tried to order it. He did. He got the receipt and everything. And then like half an hour later, oh, I'm sorry, we don't have it on stock anymore. Like,
oh, really?
He was also too late because I think when people order it at the same time, and they slowly go through it, and then those who were too late, even with a confirmed order, they get kicked out again and refunded.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It's been happening a lot where people it will go through and take their information, and then after you get an email saying your order's been canceled because it was a computer glitch where the stock, I guess, couldn't update like fast enough, the inventory, so
because
they were
usually
already sold out.
With websites, they are cached, so if they update it in the back end, it doesn't immediately in the same second update on the websites. It really depends on the load. On smaller sites, it updates usually immediately, but on bigger sites, which have to take care of load balancing, caching stuff to not overload their systems, it might take a few seconds, maybe even a minute or two. And if you then order, the UI says you can, and you can in the background as well. But then if the order is processed, it notices, oh, we don't really have it anymore. Then yeah, it will be refunded. Too bad.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on the announcement?
I was pretty much surprised. I tried to not anticipate it because I didn't want to get disappointed again. Because if I thought, oh, maybe here, yes. Is it this? No. Is it this? No. Is it? No. Is it? No. I just enjoyed every single announcement. Like Kina was there with a new trailer, which is pretty cool. I might play. And there was another one I forgot. I don't remember which games were there. This time loop game, something.
Yeah,
I don't
Death
remember.
Loop. It's Death Loop.
Yeah, it's not my kind of game, but I don't know. Maybe I'll watch someone play because At least the
It
story
looks
looks interesting.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I'm confused as to what it is. That's my problem. I don't know what it is yet. Like, is it Overwatch? But I think it's a
Yeah.
multiplayer brawler, but it's a shooter,
Huh.
but like
Kinda, yeah.
I don't know. I'm confused. Anyway, it looks really cool. I agree.
It does, yeah. And there were a few others too. And then they said, "Oh, we have one last surprise for you. One of the 2020's best games, something I don't remember the exact wording." And I thought, "Oh,
Mhm.
please don't crap on me now," because my mind went immediately, "Oh, please be it this, please be it this," because I can't not anticipate something if they start the announcement with that. And lo and behold, it was Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it started
Yay.
exactly the same as the 2019
Mhm.
Tokyo Game Show trailer. Same
Yeah.
music, same scenes, but then it deviated a little bit, showed other scenes from other trailers. I thought, oh well, it's just as you said before, just the definitive edition with higher native resolution and 60
Mhm.
FPS and stuff. And then it changed to the Looking Glass perspective. And oh wait, no way. And then it kind of sounded like Chessy a little bit. Then
Yeah,
I
I
thought,
thought so
no,
too.
it doesn't really make any sense. And then we saw I saw the Moogle cloak, and oh no, you got to be kidding me! This is awesome.
Yeah.
No, you should have seen the chat in our CCO Discord. It was everyone went crazy.
I don't know where I was on CCO, but I don't know which channel. I was probably in the wrong channel. I can't
Oh,
remember
maybe
which
because
one
we
I was in. There's so many channels. I'm like, I don't even know which one I'm in.
No, I think it
Not as
was
a
in
bad
the
thing. I just mean like everybody is talking in every
yeah.
channel. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, which one am I in? I'm talking in the silence channel and people are like, yo, this is silence channel. And I'm like, oh yeah. They're like, why are you talking the silence channel? You need to move over to this channel. I'm like, oh, okay, thanks
Yeah,
for the
it's a little
reminder.
bit confusing for the non-initiated, I have to agree. I usually only use silence for those who still want to talk but don't want to use the microphone if we're in voice chat.
Yes,
But
I know.
for
But I was just
events,
writing in there.
yeah, exactly. And for events, if something happens, we usually don't talk. We just write in text channel, and that's
Hmm.
the event channel. That's probably
Yeah.
why I got confused, and I don't blame you. But yeah, it was a bit. Everyone went crazy there, and then it kept going, kept going. Especially new Avalanche members and the
Hmm.
Yuffie, how we know her, and then someone new came, and then who's that? And we see a bow. Oh, it's it. No, hey, wait, who are you? Yeah,
Yeah.
it was fun. And then we saw Barrett and Tifa and Biggs. I thought, oh, maybe they'll show us a little bit more. Maybe even a scene in the hideout. But no, just a little scene, maybe for context, and then back to
Yeah.
Yuffie and her funny Naruto run and wall run, and it was really cool. And at the end, deep ground. So Doors of Cerberus lore confirmed to be 100% canon, I think. Even with a teaser of Vyzz, but VR only. But we'll get into this later.
Yeah.
So that's the gist of what got us going in this channel, and yeah, those were the highlights, and where everyone went
Hmm.
just crazy.
Yeah, I'm interested to find out more about the new character, Sonan.
Mm. Sonon Kusakabe.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where he is going to go as a character, but people were like, "Oh, he's just gonna die. He's gonna die," or
Yeah.
something based on who his voice actor is, because that voice act normally dies in everything they've been in.
Oh.
And I'm
Right.
like, "Oh no, oh dear." You know, these things happen. So,
Mm,
I mean, if he dies, I guess. Like, we'll deal with it. You know what I mean? But
mm.
I hope not, because he seems like a super interesting character, a shinobi from Wutai, and
Yeah, definitely.
there's at one point when she says something about "I'm not your sister," so
Yep.
interested to see. People are like, "Oh, it's her brother." I don't think it's
No.
her brother. I just
No.
think that they probably call each other sister and brother, maybe. Like, in Wutai because of the cultural thing or something. I'm not sure, but
I have a lot of thoughts about this.
yeah, so stay tuned for that rough analysis episode that will be coming to CCO for more in-depth information. And we're going to talk a little bit more on our next episode, more in depth about the story and
Definitely, yeah.
give our kind of predictions for, where the story might go and things like that. We are going to touch a little bit on that today. But yeah, I thought that he looked really cool as a character. And like you said, the additional members of Avalanche look super cool. I like that they included that scene to give context as well. And people were like, because there was a rumor that it was like going to be the DLC was like a chapter 8.5 and then I think chapter 19. So the 8.5, people were thinking, oh, it's like the Tifa mission that didn't make it in or whatever.
Yeah.
We might not get that. That might not even be anything.
No,
maybe
probably not.
It could be. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to fit in with Yuffie, I guess, unless she's there working with Tifa like earlier and doesn't say something. Like it doesn't even make sense, but it could be.
Those two groups are completely separate. They even say it in the trailer in the dialogue that they better not meet because the other Avalanche, Barrett's Avalanche group is under surveillance of Shinra. They can't have that.
Well, even if we don't get it, whatever, it's fine. I'm just happy we're getting something.
Oh, for sure.
A little extra content. So,
and to be fair, it's really more interesting to receive new characters to play as Yuffie than just rethread the same old with Tifa in the same sector and doing practically the same, maybe even similar side quests and stuff, just to spend more time with the same again. Still, it would be cool to see what they actually do after they lose Cloud until they reconvene in Sector 6. But still, something new with more lore and more connection to Part 2 and Part 3 or something is more enticing, I think. It's more interesting. It hooks you more. So I'm glad they did that.
Yeah, me too. Super excited. I just so Sona, the new character, people thought that he looked like Zack, so then people were confused because they were like, is that Zack? What?
No.
Like, how does that make sense? It's like, no, it's not Zack. Not
Definitely
yet.
not.
But you can see their facial features are a little bit different from each other.
Yeah, they are.
But they do look similar, but they're not.
It's
not
a similar archetype, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. They might have used Zack's character model and changed his face. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they just modified. I'm excited to see where he goes as a character and how he's, like, how is he going to be introduced? Like, what is his backstory? We might not even get that much, but
I hope so, we do.
Maybe he appears in Part 2, And this is what we were talking about on previous episodes as well, where it just provides him with the opportunity to give us new characters, in Part 2 and Part 3. Like,
exactly.
Why not? It's just enriching the story and the worlds that we know of already of Final Fantasy VII. And there's so many different, compilation characters that we might see that they might give story to as well, which, I'm open to that. I can't wait to see where this is going to go with him as a character.
I kind of hope that he survives and then we meet him in Wutai again.
Yes.
When we go with Yuffie to Wutai. And maybe he's even a guest character there as well. For
that
a
would
short
be
amount of time.
Amazing.
Not sure how it will fit in, but I kind of want to kind of see characters again, not just one-offs.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Especially those who are really integrated into the story, like Sonon.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Having them, you see them, or you like interacting with them multiple times throughout the games. It's not just like a throwaway character that's just gone forever. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's a new character, and then they're like, oh, they just. It's like there's no payoff. It's just the fact that you're just taking up time. I felt like they did a good job with this first part as well with that. We talked about this on previous episodes also, but I feel that the additions to the game help and are meaningful. And I think that we're going to see a payoff for some of the characters' stories. Like,
Johnny, Leslie,
Kyle. Yeah, exactly. Like, hopefully we'll see what happens. But anyway.
Corneo, because that's... MFR is still at large.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. And we were kind of talking about, I was on Twitter just talking about, oh, this kind of gives them, because people were thinking, oh, how are we going to start part 2 without, like, are they going to start, sorry, the team, are they going to start part 2 without their equipment or materia or whatever? Like, what are they going to do? How are they going to do that when you're starting from level 1, blah, blah, blah. And then I thought, oh, well, maybe they're introducing Yuffie now because she does steal the materia from Shinra, and then she meets up with the group, but then she takes their it could happen earlier where she takes their stuff and then they have to like chase her back to Wutai to get all their stuff back or something, or they're there for something else, and then I don't know. Anyway, I'm stretching it, but you know, it does make more sense now that it could potentially happen, or it could just be you start the game and there's no explanation.
Yeah,
and you're just level 1. There's nothing. And okay.
Or if
you know?
if the Aerith analysis, the theory in there comes true, that this first part took place in the memories of the live stream, and then the whole timeline got reset, and we're now in the new reality, then of course they can't just say, okay, because of this change, everything got reset because they're now in reality and stuff.
That makes sense.
That's the other idea I have
sense as well.
For a thing. And if part 2 really stops at the Whirlwind Maze, we start part 3 with being captured in Junon and almost being executed, and then losing all our gear and stuff would also make sense story-wise. So I think they could go kind of the Kingdom Hearts route, because the reset of Sora is also always kind of explained. Or as you said, just no reason at all, just for gameplay purposes. You lose everything and have to do it again.
Yeah. So it looks like team up attacks are a thing.
Yeah.
I forgot what they're called. The specific. Do you know what it's called?
There are 2 which you can
synergize.
Yeah, synergized Art of War and synergized Whirlwind. Those are the 2 we see in Yuffie's quick menu.
I'm loving it.
And I think do we see only those 2 or more? Because I haven't analyzed the battles as detailed yet, because I'm not there yet. So I can't say too much.
Remember way back when there were screenshots and it looked like Tifa was jumping off of Cloud's sword? Remember? And we were like, oh, maybe there's team up attacks. That would be so cool. Like combos, whatever. It could be like an experimentation with combos that might make it into part 2 even. They might be just like testing to see. You know what I mean? It would be so cool if they did add that element, because it just adds another layer there to the combat system, which is already very good. Like, it's one of my favorite combat systems across all the Final Fantasy games. Honestly, I loved it so much, and I think this could add another fresh element to it, and I hope they keep it in part 2. Obviously, we haven't played it, like the DLC yet, so we don't even know. But from the video that they showed, it looks super cool and powerful, and I can't wait to try it out.
It also seems there are two different versions of team up attacks. One is just an ATB ability, which draws away an ATB from both at the same time.
Right.
And the other one with those new symbols, and when both status elements are surrounded by this glowing blue effect, which is also not always there. So there are kind of 2 things, but we'll talk about this in the next episode, I guess.
Yeah. All right, so moving on, we are talking about briefly talking about story ideas. So let's go through the synopsis. So it says the new Yuffie DLC will be 2 chapters long. It will focus on the Wutai Shinobi as they infiltrate Midgar and join forces with the main Avalanche branch to steal Shinra Company's ultimate materia. After the bombing of Sector 5 reactor, Midgar is in a state of crisis. Amidst the chaos, the Shinobi of Wutai began their secret operations. A young woman named Yuffie wears a Moogle cape and is joined by her reliable partner, Sonon. They aim to steal the ultimate materia developed by the Shinra Company. With the aid from the main Avalanche branch, they rush forth into enemy territory for the sake of their land and for revenge. Guided by the calls of the planet, the gears of a new destiny begin to turn. Sorry.
This is an interesting sentence.
Yeah, so it was a translation. Thank you, Audrey. You're
Yep.
incredible. Always translating everything that comes out of Japan, any news, anything, and props to you. Honestly, shout out to Audrey for doing this. So yeah, so we've got a lot of information here. Did you want to go ahead? I know that you wanted to talk a little bit about I know the last sentence, guided by the calls of the planet, the gears of a new destiny began to turn. So did you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, this I don't have too much to say, but it's so interesting that they say guided by the calls of the planets. So the planets kind of makes them do something, but
Hmm.
this didn't happen in the original. Maybe it did, but we of course never saw it from the eyes of Cloud, the others. That's why they can't meet. Yuffie can't meet up with the others because they never see her there. Otherwise, it would be breaking the timeline quite a bit.
Hmm.
But it's hard to say because it really seems like this is meant to be. It is kind of meant to set up something for the future, or maybe just to give more context to what happens later anyway, or would have happened in the original timeline. And the gears of a new destiny begin to turn. So, new destiny is, I'm pretty sure, is a reference to Yuffie. It is the new destiny in this version of the
Hmm.
timeline because it was never a thing in the original. It begins to turn, but I'd have to think a bit more of that about this and look a bit more into it to kind of make sense of it in the context of the remake, of the original, and my own theories.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem, yeah, because my theory is based on this first game, it's in live streams memories, and then after that it's in reality. So, but this before the planet said no, it has to go this way, and the enforcers were the whispers because it wanted to retain its own memories. It didn't want
Yeah.
its own memories to change. So that's why the calls of the planet. Planet says, "Hey, you have to do this because otherwise, destiny wouldn't work." So I kind of think this is a retcon into the original storyline, but still making it fit into the original storyline. Kind of like
It could be.
a side story that fits in perfectly, but still that they pretend that it always happened. So that's why it also happened in the original timeline, and yeah, it just starts to turn like this new old thing. I
Yeah.
currently have troubles to actually convey what I'm thinking because it doesn't really make any sense. It
Yeah.
makes sense, but it's not like easily explained.
I'm not sure either. It's very
Yeah,
cryptic. So,
it's always like this with timey-wimey
mhm.
stuff and Destiny and
Yeah,
Retcon and yeah.
exactly. Yeah. I just thought it could be that now, like the destiny has changed. It's not the same anymore because of the whispers were destroyed and all of that. So,
Unless unless it's meant to not be in part of the lifetime's memories, like that the remake is already done and it's reset. But from that point on, there's also a past. And in this new past, this happened. Before it didn't happen, but now it did happen
oh,
because we changed stuff.
that's
And then the planet
interesting.
had to kind of rearrange things a little bit so that everything fits again. Because time corrects itself
Oh,
always. And that's also Intergrade is in between. It moves from one point to the other. It's a middle point. So it is
yeah.
something that happens between part one and part two. And if part one is done, and this one would probably also happen after, even story wise, even if it happens within the story of part one, if if this makes any sense. So yeah,
This is interesting.
that's
Yeah.
kind of my current
So,
idea. Yeah,
we don't know when this story is taking place. Is it taking place during the story of part one?
yeah,
Or is it
it's
after the ending when the whispers are destroyed? This is like what happens then.
no, no, it's story-wise, like from our perception, is during chapter 8, after Cloud falls to his apparent
Right.
death. And
That's what I thought.
yeah,
Okay.
that's why they showed the scene with Tifa, Barrett, and Biggs
Yeah.
to give context when it happens. Yeah.
This is chapter 19, which is after 18, and we know what happens in 18. So I'm like, oh, is it something that happens after, or it's just chapter 19, but it's taking place during chapter 8?
Well, again, it depends on perspective. Like story-wise, how you tell it,
Yeah.
it happens after Airbuster, but before the Sector 7 plate falls because it's still there, and they even say, "Hey, you should leave now because there's rumors that the plate is coming down." It's part of the trailer even. So it's really setting the stage that it's happening in this time frame. But if we go by this timey-wimey stuff, or let's just call it recreated destiny, like corrected destiny, it didn't happen before, but after we destroyed the Whispers and Destiny, then everything we did before is committed to the new reality. But
Right.
that the new reality makes sense because of everything we changed. Other changes also happen, like a ripple effect through time backwards. That's why they can change stuff even in the past, especially with Zack living now. This probably also has an effect, I wager. And that's why it's I can see this DLC happening time-wise in chapter 8, but not before they destroy Destiny, after they destroy Destiny, because what they experienced before still happened. Chapter 1 through 18 still happened. If you know what I mean. But this Yuffie chapter is just something new that got inserted to make sense of this new reality and the new past, new timeline.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's my current idea, and I really should write this down afterwards, after recording, so that I can include it into story predictions for the rough analysis. Yeah. You heard it first here. This is kind of a live, not really analysis, but live revelation, kind of.
I love it.
Yeah.
So I'm getting DOC vibes, like Dirge of Service vibes from the story.
Definitely.
Absolutely. People online were like, "Oh, it's canon." No.
Well, I personally don't mind that it's canon. I just didn't like the game itself, like gameplay and how it was presented, but the lore itself, the story, certain elements weren't that bad actually. Just they presented cringe, but
yeah, I agree. Yeah,
like
I like the story elements.
Yeah,
it was cringy, but the gameplay was not that great.
No.
I liked it being like a shooter though. Like I was like,
cool.
interested in that. I thought it was cool.
It was a nice
Final
experiment.
Fantasy game.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But still, yeah, subpar.
I haven't played it in so long though, so I forget a lot of it.
I recently rewatched everything, so I have.
Did you?
A bit more. Yeah.
Oh, I should do that. I should watch like a playthrough on YouTube.
Exactly.
That's an
interesting
interesting idea. I just did some brief kind of researching online after, because I was like trying to refresh my memories about like everything in the game. So it looks like they're infiltrating the Shinra Tower to find what was in the translation was that it
ultimate materia,
the ultimate materia, But we didn't know if this was a reference to huge materia, like in the original. People were hoping that it is actually huge materia that they're looking for, but because in the original there wasn't really that much lore, if any, about huge materia.
Just that Scarlet wanted this huge materia, and they tried to create huge materia in certain reactors. One is in Fort Condor, one in the underwater reactor, another one in Corel, and the fourth one. Come on, memory.
Some people on Twitter brought up some good points about it being a different type of materia and not huge materia. I forget what the name of it is now. Anyway.
The one that you might be looking for is Proto Material, but I don't think so, because
it's Proto Material. That's right.
Yeah. First, not everyone knows about this proto material, something rather secret, and it was inserted into Vincent's body in the past, like 30 years in the past. I think it was 30 years. Yeah, because Vincent was in the coffin for 30 years, I think, because it's now considered to be 60.
Right.
So it was inside of him, and it only got stolen by Rosso in Dirge of Cerberus, which is 3 years later. So it virtually can't be proto material because Vincent has it. But maybe they tried to recreate the proto materia, kind of like a copy, a clone, or something that has similar properties. To maybe, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure it's huge materia that they're trying, because we saw Scarlet experimenting with
Yes.
with her team there to create materia, because they had 3 of them, and maybe they wanted to fuse it into a bigger one, but then they went out of control and everything exploded, as we've seen in chapter 16.
Yeah. And it looks like somebody said there was a B13 like on the wall behind her, which kind of says like, oh, she's in the basement on floor
B13. Even says on the label when the scene begins, it says B13, some material research laboratory or something like that.
Yeah. So it would make sense because this is taking place obviously in the Shinra Tower, in the pillar underneath ground, right?
And that's where
on
deep ground
level
is.
13. Yes, which is my next thing. It looks like also with the reveal of the, I guess the like the soldier units, like their garb, like what they're wearing, it looks very, very similar to how Deep Ground looked.
Yeah, it's not exactly the same.
Yeah, with the little like eye in the middle.
The blue lines.
Yeah, it looks very similar. And what else do we get? It looks like people are thinking that there's talk about the Sviets, and I don't know if they'll be returning or not. We'll see potentially maybe in the battle simulator. Also, the big reveal at the end of the trailer.
Yeah, it was Vyzz, and
yes, I was just looking for you to say who it was. Yeah, it looks like Vyzz, and also just by the hair, but the eyes are different though, because somebody had just actually recently, just today, I think a few minutes ago, like put a screenshot of his eyes. They're different. They don't have like the yellow ring around the middle.
Okay, I haven't checked that yet. I'm not there with the analysis.
In his new in the trailer anyway, it doesn't look like his eyes are the same, so people are like, that's interesting. People are thinking potentially could be like a battle in the battle simulator somehow.
Oh, for sure, yeah. It is the battle simulator when you check the background.
Yeah, it looks like if you freeze it, the video, if you just pause it and you're looking, it looks like the battle simulator. Yes. Absolutely. So we'll see. I'm liking this. I am okay to kind of go back to, not go back, but just to get just like story that is included in the remake and it's tying in with Dirge of Cerberus. I'm okay with it. And I feel like it's probably going to be better done than how it was in Dirge of Cerberus.
Oh, for sure, yeah. But I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Because they did such a good job so far, and even including nods to compilation material, but only nods or just slight references, and not like blatantly copy paste something in and then which results in cringe. They really did a good job. Like the mention of Consul, mentioning the assassination attempt on President Shinra from before Crisis, and like also referencing Deep Ground without saying that it is, but it's of course Deep Ground because it's underneath Midgar, like in chapter 13, and with the experiments from Hojo, which also kind of resemble those Deep Ground soldiers with the glowing eye in the middle, but are like atrocities. Some new experience we haven't seen before, and Sleepy had the theory about them being experiments to kind of fuse G and S genes, because the failed experiment has like this wing bone on both sides, not just on the right, like Genesis. Oh no, the left. Genesis has it on the left, and Sephiroth has it on the right. All the little ones have it on the left, like Genesis, and the big one has it on both sides, as if it was meant to be a combination of both. So this is something new even. So they took something old and took it even further, which is pretty interesting for the future, what the future holds. So, and speaking of the future, and Proto Material and Omega, which were a big part of Dirge of Cerberus, since they now include Deep Ground so blatantly and Yuffie's Dirge of Cerberus cloak, I'm pretty sure that Proto Material and Omega make an appearance in some form in the future, and that Vincent and Chaos have also, or at least the Chaos version of Vincent, have a much more relevant appearance or relevancy to the story. I'm pretty sure. Vyzz, I don't know, because Vyzz, as he should be pronounced, because Vyzz is just German for white.
Yeah, that's how I say it.
Yeah, and it's pronounced Vyzz with a V in German, like VR, where he appears. We'll go through the Nomura's interview later, where he confirms a few things. And I had a thought, but I don't think it's true, but maybe the final battle in the trailer is not Vyzz, as confirmed by Nomura. Maybe it's Sonos. But that's for another video. I don't really think that's
interesting.
But there are arguments for it, but not that strong ones. It's more likely that he either dies protecting Yuffie, or he survives and will be a side character later. I'm more leaning towards those outcomes.
Yeah, I don't know, because they did a good job, like, cutting that trailer. It does look like Vyzz is the boss, but I feel like they might have kept some stuff a secret. I feel.
Oh, for sure.
So
because in the interview, Nomura says like 3 times, "Please wait for more information."
Yeah. So who knows? Not that much longer. I guess we'll get more information as it gets closer to the release, obviously, but I'm all for it. I can't wait to play this. I think it's going to be amazing, honestly. I'm just super glad that we're going to be able to get to play as Yuffie.
Oh, same here.
Right? And it's so crazy that we get to play as Yuffie before Red 13. Like, what?
Yeah, this is almost a travesty.
Like, you said no for Red 13, but then you give us Yuffie? Like, what?
Well, Yuffie has 2 chapters now, so maybe,
I know.
but yeah, it's still sad. I really wanted to play as Red, but I understand, because only playing with him or as him for like half of chapter 17. No, I think the whole of chapter 17. Then just a few bosses afterwards, like 1 dungeon and a few bosses, is too little to actually get to know him.
Yeah. Do you think, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, the trailers, like, do you think that it'll be able... I didn't see any swap character, like how you can swap in the original with Sonon. Like,
Nope,
I don't think
gone.
you're going to be able to... you can't swap, right?
Nope, you can't. It's also confirmed in the interview,
So he's there for backup, and you can probably issue him commands and do team-up attacks, like synergizing attacks.
Exactly. Either synergizing attacks, but you can issue commands, because the L2 button is there, so you can press L2 and then input or use his commands, but not control him, because I think that has implications to story. That he's not actually playable. Either he dies or is never really a party member, but because it's only Yuffie, it would be too boring to just play as one character, so you can at least command the second one and use combo attacks, like the synergize attacks and combo attacks and stuff, to make it more spicy and interesting. That's my guess anyway.
I feel like they should, since they're going in anyway, they should just like break Red 13 out of his laboratory, and then he can like help them, but then she has to like put him back in when she's done. She's like, She's like, thank
Why
you so
not?
much for your help, but I have to put you back in because I don't want any like people to suspect me, but it's okay.
Yeah, because
And let us play as
yeah.
Red 13.
Yeah, exactly. Third party member. And then say, please, Red, you need to go back into your cell because the others need your help too. Like Aerith and the
Exactly.
rest. Huh? Who are
There you
Aerith and the
go.
rest? You'll see. Yeah.
That would be cool,
Or
but
it
it's
just
probably
gets
not going to happen.
nah. Or it just gets taken again because maybe Yuffie gets away, Sonos protects her, makes sure she gets away, and he doesn't. He might be then used for experimentation. Red gets is just put back into his tank or something. But this would be a really, really huge surprise, and everyone would be like, "What? Yeah, sign me up, baby!" No, I would
so
jump
cool.
from joy, definitely.
I know.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on, we're just going to kind of go through the different versions of the game, since there's kind of a lot of fine prints for how to be able to, I guess, get this upgrade and everything. Yep. So it is available as a free PS5 upgrade that you will be able to claim if you already own a copy of the PS4 version of Remake, either digital or disc version of the PS4 Final Fantasy VII Remake. However, if you own a disc version of the PS4 game and you bought a digital version of the PS5, you won't be able to get the free upgrade because it's a licensing issue where the PS5 will still have to have that Final Fantasy VII Remake PS4 disc in it in order to read the license to know that you bought a copy of it. So if you bought a disc version for PS4, but then you have a digital version of a PS5 that doesn't have the Blu-ray drive,
exactly,
you can't get it for free. You have to buy a whole retail copy of it. Unfortunately.
Which will include the DLC at least.
Yeah, exactly. So that's just one thing. So people can get the free upgrade. You just have to have the PS4 game version of the game, the disc or digital version, to get the free PS5 upgrade. And then what will happen is you'll be able to download the Yuffie DLC. It will be like a separate purchasable thing.
Yep.
Right now, it's not listed because I logged into PlayStation Store and I tried to see if I could pre-order the Yuffie DLC, but you can't right now. The only thing you can pre-order is the actual PS5 Intergrade version, the full version, digital deluxe or standard digital version, or also just like the standard disc version. But I couldn't find it anywhere, so it wouldn't let me do it because it told me, oh, you already have a copy of Final Fantasy VII Remake, so why do you want to buy it again?
It's so annoying.
Yeah, is what it said. So I think we're going to get more information about this at a later date. It's too bad that we can't pre-order the Yuffie DLC, because the thing is that the Yuffie, like the Intergrade version, it comes with a pre-order bonus. So if you pre-order, it says that it comes with the Cackstar weapon that Yuffie can wield. After some research, it looks like it's a pre-order bonus for digital deluxe edition. However, for me, I'm in Canada, so on the Canadian PlayStation Store, it does have a little asterisk, and it says it will be available for purchase after the pre-order closes.
Yeah, I heard about that too. So that you can just buy the weapon anyway.
Yeah,
if you want.
so it's not, I mean, it is a pre-order bonus. It comes, but it's not just like you won't ever be able to get it. So
at least something, yeah.
I'm fine with that because I'm just going to buy the weapon and I'll buy the Yuffie DLC after I do the free upgrade once I get my disc PS5.
Yeah, but there's also something more. If you pre-order it, you get this is just the digital deluxe edition where you also get a digital art book and digital mini soundtrack, same as the vanilla game. I'm not sure if it's the same or if it's new or expanded, because there's also some Yuffie stuff in there.
Yeah,
Would be
think
cool.
It's expanded. I know that the soundtrack has one new track on it. What is it called?
Oh, Descendant of Shinobi, probably. Yeah.
Yes, that's the one. That is only available on this soundtrack.
Yeah.
So
okay,
it's a new track that's on it. I don't know if there's going to be multiple ones, but that one is definitely on it.
Okay.
But I think that it's going to be similar to the like the original PlayStation 4 version, because what you could buy the standard version of the game, just like the basic retail copy, and then you could just pay for a digital deluxe or like the upgrade later. You could just pay an extra whatever it is to upgrade the version that you have to the deluxe edition.
Oh, okay.
So I feel like even if you want the digital deluxe edition and you want to pre-order it right now, you can't if you already have a copy of the game for PS4. So I think just wait it out. After you do the free upgrade, you should just be able to also buy the digital deluxe edition upgrade for your version of the game that you have after you do the upgrade. Does that make sense?
I think so, but
Because like if you bought the digital deluxe edition of PS4 version of Final Fantasy VII Remake, it does not mean that you get the digital deluxe edition of Intergrade for free after you do the upgrade. You're just getting the base copy of Final Fantasy VII Remake for PS4. You're getting the base copy of that upgraded to Intergrade. You're not getting the digital deluxe edition, the extra soundtrack. No, you have to pay extra. So you will have to upgrade. After you do the free upgrade, you'll have to pay something, whether it's $19.99, $10.99 to upgrade your version of Intergrade to the digital deluxe edition of Intergrade to get the art book and the soundtrack.
Oh boy.
And the Kakstar weapon. That's what you're going to have to do. And the Yuffie DLC. That's what you have to do. But if you don't want that, you don't want the art book or anything, you can just upgrade. Probably you'll do the free upgrade and then you'll just buy the Yuffie DLC separately, which will probably be like $10. And then you could buy the weapon separately as well. So there's going to be multiple pathways to get there. I think it's really confusing. People are upset because also the game is released for free on PlayStation Plus this month in March.
Say that, yeah.
So the PlayStation Plus version of the game also isn't available for you to get the free upgrade. And I can understand why, because it's not necessarily a free game. I get it. You're paying for PlayStation Plus. It's not really free because you're paying that monthly payment, that monthly subscription to PS Plus. But you haven't bought a copy of the retail version of the game. You don't have the license to it because you're basically like borrowing that game from like having it on PlayStation Plus. Like you haven't bought it. You haven't bought a retail copy of the game.
Yeah, you only have the license.
So I can understand why. Like I feel like it would be crazy for them, and also they would lose so much money. They're already giving people a free upgrade to Intergrade for people that did buy a PS4 copy of the game. Like they're giving you a free upgrade, which I think it's great because a lot of other companies have been doing this as well with their games that are, multi-generational, whatever, that came in on PS4. I'm happy that it's free, that I'm getting the free Intergrade upgrade. If I want that, it's there. That's great.
Oh, for sure.
If you have it on free for PlayStation Plus, it's I know you pay a subscription fee for it as a service. Getting the free games is like a bonus, right? But you haven't bought a copy of that game, a retail copy. And then you want a free upgrade to Intergrade as well. Like you haven't even paid. You haven't paid either version. So Square Enix would be like at a loss if they gave everybody that gets Remake from PlayStation Plus, if they gave them a free upgrade to Intergrade as well.
That would be insane.
They would lose so much money. Like, I feel, honestly, it's fair. I think it's fair. And I think that if you play through, you should be playing Remake right now. If it's free on PlayStation Plus, go for it.
Definitely.
If you beat it and you love it, absolutely. Why not support the developer and just buy a copy of the PS4 version of the game anyway? Because it's cheaper. Well, it was on sale. I don't know if it's cheaper anymore, but the price was lower than usual. And then you could upgrade to Intergrade and get it for free. You can get Intergrade for free. You don't have to buy a PS5 retail version of that game. If you have it on PS Plus, just buy it after you're done beating it, and you get the free upgrade to Intergrade.
Or just buy the PS5 version.
Or you can if you want to. You can if you want to, but that might be more expensive in the long run than just buying the cheaper PS4 version of the game and then getting the Yuffie DLC as an added download after.
I think that buying the vanilla PS4 game, upgrading, and then get the DLC is more expensive than just buying PS5 version where it's already included. I'm I'm pretty sure it's cheaper because I think the PS5 version is only around $10, pounds, francs, euros, whatever, more expensive. But the DLC will probably be about 20 or something. I have a feeling.
Yeah, it depends on how much it is for the retail copy of the game
Yeah.
for PS4, because I know that it was cheaper. It was on sale for quite cheap, actually.
Well,
I forget.
if you can buy it cheap for sure, but if you have to buy it full price PS4, then I advise
No,
to buy the
absolutely not.
PS5
No.
version. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I meant like if it was on sale,
Oh,
you know what I
for
mean?
sure. Yeah, go for it.
Or if it was on sale, or you could also buy it pre-owned, like
Or that
GameStop,
for sure. Yeah,
EB
for
Games.
sure.
Like you could also just buy pre-owned
Used
copy.
copy. Yeah.
You could also just buy it online off of somebody on like
Mm.
I use something called Kijiji. It's like Craigslist.
I
You
see.
could just
Yeah.
buy it for $20 from somebody online. The disc version. You can't buy the digital
Yeah, for sure.
version. Obviously, it
This-
doesn't work, but
yeah.
then you have it. Then you could just get the free upgrade. Like you don't need to pay for the retail copy of the just Intergrade. But if you want to, go for it. But anyway, there is controversy about that online, so I just want to address it. I think it's
sure.
fair for what you're getting. I think it's fair, and I think it's amazing that you're getting Remake as a PS Plus game. The game hasn't even been out for a year yet. It's almost been a year, April 10th, and you're getting it for free on PS Plus. So if you've been waiting to play it, you don't have to pay anything. You can literally try it, play it, beat it completely if you want to.
Mm.
You know? And then you're like, oh my gosh, I love it so much. I'm going to buy it because I want to play the Yuffie DLC on my PS5.
Yeah. I think that's the idea, that people try it out for free and then are kind of incentivized to buy the PS5 version, the Yuffie DLC.
I think it's a great business model. Absolutely.
sure.
And you never had to pay anything, only your PS Plus subscription fee
to get
even
into
try
it. Yeah.
To get into it. Yeah.
And even if you think back to PS3, PS4 era, where there were a few PS4 versions, right, like remastered versions, or not a few, lots of PS4 remastered versions of PS3 games, even like a year after they came out, and you had to buy them completely again, like the Uncharted series, The Last of Us.
Look at Nintendo. They are the worst.
GTA 5.
They are the worst for that. Nintendo.
Yeah.
You
Nintendo
buy
too.
one copy and then you're like, oh, it's re-released on Switch. Now I have to buy it again at full retail price. You don't get a free download just because you bought Pokemon like 20 years ago and now it's being re-released as a new game on Switch. You're like, oh, Pokemon Red, yay! Why don't I get a free upgrade? It's like, no. Like there's costs that went into making that version of the game. It's not the same game, right? Like
it's a remake, completely.
So it's like the fact that they're offering a free upgrade for people that bought the PS4 version of the game, I think it's fantastic. And I think that it's the proper thing to do. And I think that offering the game for free in March on PS Plus is a great business tactic that's probably going to get more people into playing the game. And people are talking about it more now, especially with the new trailer.
Yes.
You know, with Intergrade and everything. Why not? I think it's amazing. The only thing that people are upset over is that the DLC, the Yuffie DLC, is not available on PS4.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a big issue.
Especially because barely anyone can even buy a PS5.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel bad for the people that have PS4s that aren't going to be able to experience the story until much later. And then it's all going to be posted online.
Yeah,
like immediately.
Galore.
So how are you going to be able to avoid it? And you don't have a PS5. Like I haven't even been able to get one.
Same.
Neither have you. You know, I don't know when PS5s are going to be available at retail locations just on the shelves for people to buy. It's probably not going to be for another year. Like who knows? But I feel bad for those people. Like I sold my PS4 a while ago to help pay for the PS5. I haven't been able to get one, but I don't have a PS4, so I'm not bummed out because I just don't even have a PS4 to even play right now. You know what I mean?
True, yeah.
So it's like, oh well, I have no other choice but get a PS5 if I want to play this. So like I said, we have 3 months, but it's going to be hard, and I feel bad for those people. it does make sense why it's not available. It's been optimized for PS5. It's
Yep.
not, you're not able to play it. The system, it's an older system, and also probably they thought, well, we want to help sell PS5s as well. But really, do you really need help selling more PS5, Sony? You know what I mean?
People already are running in stores right now, like not quite literally, but metaphorically, they're
Yeah.
just waiting outside the stores with pitchforks and everything.
Yeah.
Let us in, we want it.
But people who have the game though on PS4, at least they get the Intergrade for free.
Yeah, that's really
And
good move. Yeah.
I'm happy about that. So as soon as you do get a PS5, when you can get one, find one or afford it or whatever you're saving up, perfect. You get that free upgrade. Yuffie DLC will always be there. You'll be able to download and play it. It's just going to be crazy to not
get spoiled.
Yeah, because like hopefully we would have already played it. We're going to be talking about it, right? So those people are going to have to skip that part of our episodes, which is sad.
Unfortunately, yeah. Same with the CCO videos.
Yeah. Anyway, so moving on, we are talking as well about Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis and the First Soldier that were announced, but they were announced on the Remake's Twitter account, I guess, or on the website. I'm not sure, but I saw it released on the Twitter account. I was like, what? We're getting more stuff?
Yeah.
Because I was just watching the state of play and I never saw anything until after. Then I was like, people were posting screenshots and I was like, what? Then I realized, okay, so Ever Crisis is a mobile game. And what it was kind of what I predicted on previous episode. I just want to say that we had talked about it and I had said, imagine if it's like a repackaging of all of the games in the entire compilation so people can experience the whole compilation with updated, like it's like an HD remaster or it's a remake or something, but it's a package of every single one and people can experience it beginning to end. Why not? Before Crisis wasn't even released in the West, we couldn't even play it. It was only for mobile phones and it was like terrible flip phone quality. Like it wasn't even, honestly, like we didn't even get that story. So if you don't already know, Ever Crisis is a mobile game. It's all the story from the whole Final Fantasy VII, and the OG is being redone, and also it's all of the games in the compilation, including Advent Children, which is a movie. So I'm interested to see how that's going to fit in, what they're going to do, if it's going to be just told to us in cutscenes or video, or if it's going to be like as Advent Children playable.
I guess playable, yeah.
We'll see, but I'm super excited about this. I can't wait. I know it's on mobile. I'm okay with it because I have a new phone, so it'll give me an excuse to play games on my iPhone. But I also have a wireless gamepad, a SteelSeries Nimbus or whatever that I have that I can play with my phone, but it depends on if they add that functionality or not, right? Like I hope that I can play it with a controller because I hate touching a touch screen to be able to move the characters around and stuff. I don't enjoy that.
Same.
But I'm okay with it being a mobile phone game. For now, I think it's just for now. I honestly do see this coming to the Switch and other platforms like PC and potentially PS4 and PS5.
Probably when it's finished. Yeah.
Yeah, I do see it, but later. It would be ridiculous for them to not bring it to other platforms, to be honest. People were upset. I get it. People don't like playing games on their phones. Most of Asia, this is all they do is play games on their phone. They have like gaming consoles, but they don't even play them. Like they just play mobile games. And it's super popular.
Because they're commuting all the time.
Yes, exactly. And they're going to sell a bunch of copies of this.
Yep.
I mean, apparently it's going to be released in chapters. We don't know specifics yet, but apparently it's not going to be the entire experience beginning to end right away. We're getting it in chapters, apparently. So I guess we'll see. We don't really have that much more information. I love the style, the little like chibi characters. like Final Fantasy OG, Final Fantasy VII OG, but with better it's like better graphic chibi characters. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yes, it's the
it's like
same
the
but better.
polygonal characters,
Yeah,
but with smooth edges.
yeah, exactly. A bit more details.
Yeah, like it looks so good, and I'm just super excited to experience everything. It looks like that's in the like the overworld, the world map, but then in the battle graphics look like remake style
Mm-hmm.
graphics.
Yep.
So it's just like the original, how you had your character model for the overworld, right? When you're
Mm.
just, and also in the environment, and then in the battle, you had a different character model. It's very similar to that. They kept it the same way. I
It
find
is,
that
yeah.
super interesting. Yeah, I think it's cool. I'm okay with it. Yeah, but Max Dude brought up a good point. So you can actually download an app. I think it's called BlueStack or something, where you can play mobile games on a PC.
An emulator, so to speak, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure a lot of people will be going down that route as well.
And I will too, because I don't play any games on mobile.
Yeah, I'm the same. I have like all the classic Final Fantasies on my phone. I'd never play them. I never play them. I experienced 1 and 2 on my phone. That's when I played 1 and I never played 1 and 2 until I was like an adult and I had a phone. I bought them on the App Store and I played them on my phone.
Hmm.
Final Fantasy 1 and 2. Yeah.
I played them on a PSP emulator.
Oh, cool. Yeah. But I'm just super excited to see, you know, this whole collection coming to, I guess, the present time. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And we all missed Before Crisis if you live in the West. And also, I'm interested to see how Dirge of Cerberus turns out.
Yeah, same. But I kind of have a feeling that it's not quite what we expect. Like not just
Hmm.
like a remaster, remake, demake, whatever of the games themselves, but more like what we saw for the Final Fantasy VII scenes in this vein, but for all games, and just like in terms of story, we have the BC story, the AC story, the DOC
Hmm.
story, the CC story, but like gameplay and the concept is the same everywhere. Like not different battle
Yes.
systems or something like
Hmm.
that.
I agree. Do you think that we're going to actually be able to play through the entire Final Fantasy VII OG?
I'm
Like,
pretty
do you
sure,
think
yeah.
it's actually going to be as fleshed out? Like, it's just going to be the actual game? Or do you think it's going to be more like Final Fantasy 15,
Yeah,
where it was
Pocket Edition, yeah.
Pocket Edition, where it was like the major story beats? It wasn't just open world everything like the original. Like, do you see it being as like that? I think if it's
Yeah.
like that, people are going to be really mad.
No, I think it's a bit more streamlined, I have a feeling, because especially because it has so many games included or story arcs included. It
Hmm.
will release in chapters, episodes, what have you.
Yeah,
And even with this concept, it can't just replicate the whole original game as it was, just with
exactly.
a bit better graphics.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure um, it's more like just a collection of Final Fantasy VII compilation story, but playable in this specific play style, I guess. Yeah.
Right. You know what? I actually was thinking about something as well. I just want to point out because I watched a little bit of the BlizzCon
Hmm.
and they're releasing Diablo 2 Resurrected, I guess, which
Yeah.
is a Diablo 2. It's like an HD remaster that's
I
supposed to
see.
be
Yeah.
coming out soon. They showed video of it. And do you know what they said? The company that is doing this, well, I mean, it's Blizzard, but I don't know if it's another company that's working with them on like remaking this game or upscaling it or remastering it, whatever. What they said they're doing is actually they're running the original game underneath the upgraded
I see.
game.
Yeah.
So it's like just skin over top of the original Diablo 2. Like the Diablo 2 is just underneath it. It's running. Like Diablo 2 is running. And I'm like, they could just do that with the original. They could just run Final Fantasy VII like OG underneath this upgraded.
So kind of like modding it.
Yes, it's kind of like they're modding their own game. Why not? Anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah, I just thought that was super interesting. I'm like, they could probably do that with 7. But
Yeah. Just one little detail I noticed is when we're in the reactor, there's one scene when Cloud is in front of the reactor and he has his like kind of memory flashback thing.
mhm.
It doesn't show the Sephiroth feather, but it says a similar thing that we also see in the original game. So this is effectively the original timeline, and the remake is definitely something different and new.
Okay.
So they made this conscious delineation between the two, which I find very interesting to the lore.
Yeah, I like that.
So like the compilation happened before. This is the old timeline. This is
Yeah.
what happened. This is the history, chronology. And then the remake happens with this going back in time in air quotes, because it's not really time. It's more like going back into memory, which makes it different and stuff. So this
Mhm.
is everything that comes out, all new information points towards the theory I have. Like, I
Mhm.
haven't seen anything that stands against it, like really stands against it so far.
Yeah. Yeah, and it looks like we're getting additional story about Sephiroth.
Oh yeah, this is part of the first Soldier, which takes place about 30 years before when the Soldier program started. And I think this additional story is there, but it's also integrated into Ever Crisis for us to
Mhm.
enjoy. Because like they probably know that many people who are not interested in Battle Royale will not play it and will therefore not experience the story.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah, so they included in Ever Crisis as well.
Mhm. So, talking about a little bit about the first Soldier, so it looks like it's like a battle royale mobile game as well. Similar to me, I think it looks a little bit like Fortnite without like the building. Although it
Yeah.
looked like somebody had a shield they could put out in front of them to block damage and
It's
stuff like
kind of
that.
reminded me a bit more of Overwatch. A bit more. Or maybe PUBG or something.
Hmm.
A little bit.
It looks interesting. I think that I'm gonna try it. I just don't know how much I'll like it because I know the type of games that I like. I'm not really into those type of games. I do play Overwatch still, but I took a long break from it. I just went back to it.
Yeah.
And I am enjoying my experience more now, but I don't there's no lore, there's no story. There is, but I don't care about that. Like it's just so that's not why I'm playing it.
Isn't there a short, like a 5 minute animation movie for each character and that's it?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
but I don't care. Like they try to like give lore and people like that about it, but I'm not playing Overwatch for lore. Like I'm
Most
playing
probably
it
won't.
for a drop in and drop out game that's fun and it takes 20 minutes and it's like no time
Yeah.
commitment other than playing. But and I play Overwatch I play Fortnite as well with my nephew and we
Oh,
have
nice.
fun, but I'm not that great at it, but I only play it for him because he's a child. He's so young. I think he's 7 or 8 and he's
Yeah.
really into it. So anyway, but it looks like it could be fun. I'm going to download it. I'll play it. We don't know if it's free to play or if it's like microtransaction based or if it's actually like you have to buy it. If I have to buy it, I might wait a little bit
Yeah.
before. It depends on how much it is. But it looks cool. I just don't know how much lore we're going to get from a battle royale game.
Not
Like I just
much.
don't see Square Enix locking important story content behind a battle royale that I feel like not as many people are going to play.
Yeah, that's why they include this the first Soldier lore about that legendary hero into Ever Crisis.
Hmm.
Exactly for that reason, I think.
Yeah. But it looks cool and I'm interested to see what it is when we get more information and how it functions and what it is. Like I just am confused about like what actually is the point. Like what I know it's a battle royale, but what is how are they going to relate it to Final Fantasy VII? Like, yes, the environment looked cool. The character models looked actually quite good, I thought. The graphics wise, like the character models. But anyway.
I have 2 words for you. Cash cow.
Well, yes, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
why not? I mean, you know what? They got to make their money somehow, especially after that Marvel Avengers
Yeah,
game. They
definitely.
lost so much money. I mean, they just basically Final Fantasy VII Remake saved them.
Mm.
So I do not hold it against them. I don't. I
Yeah,
don't. I'm like, you know what? You see an opportunity and you go for it. If people are gonna pay and they want to play First Soldier and that's the game that they love because that's what they're into and they love Seven and they're like, why not? You're just
sure.
providing more options for people that have different tastes of gameplay. Like they like different types of games and they're broadening their market.
Yeah.
What I don't like is when the experience is terrible. So if you have the First Soldier and it's a great experience, people are having fun, they love it. Okay, that's great. That's different.
Yep.
Oh, and the story isn't locked behind a paywall in First Soldier, so I have
Yep.
to play a battle royale to get more Sephiroth's story. No, they've answered that. That's fine. But
Mm.
if it's just trash, then no, I would hold it against them. But I think that it looks cool. We'll see what happens. And I'll try it, but I just don't see me as being like one of those long-term players. The Final Fantasy 15 mobile game that was out, that was like this war game
Oh,
or
yeah, the
whatever. I got
Empire something, yeah.
Empire. I got sucked into that, and embarrassingly, I did spend money on it,
Oh
and
boy.
it did a good job of sucking me in. And I
Yeah.
played it for a bit, then I was like, okay, no, I
No,
can't
this
keep
is a
doing this
this is a
anymore.
complete money drain because there are
Yes.
more games like this, and I've heard that they manipulate like the clans and the
Yeah.
servers and the areas where money is spent, that even if you spend a lot and you get strong, then stuff gets shuffled around on their servers, and then you kind of lose your edge or lose your
Yeah.
like your strength over the others, and then you're weak again, and you need to
Yeah.
buy stuff again. It's just only there to extract money and nothing else.
Yeah. But if that's what you want and that's the only game you play and that's the only game you spend money on, then why not? Like that's what you do. That's the game you play. That's the only time you have. That's the one you like. I'm fine with that.
Oh, for sure,
But
yeah.
for me, like I enjoyed it for what it was. I got sucked in. I spent a little bit of money, but then eventually I was like there's no way that I'm going to be able to continue to play this, continue to spend money and enjoy this experience, which I thought was okay, but it could have been a lot better.
Yeah.
I don't I'm hoping that this is not what First Soldier is going to be.
Yeah, same.
We'll see what happens, but I'm willing to try it.
Yeah. There are also a few things I forgot to mention about Ever Crisis.
Hmm.
Did you notice that Aerith was playable against the Guard
Yes, I
Scorpion,
did. I
and
did.
that they could summon Leviathan in that
Yeah.
fight?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if the Leviathan scene, I don't think that it showed. I feel like the Leviathan scene was taken, it was cut out of another battle. It
Oh,
just
that
was
could
put in
be,
to
yeah,
show because I
maybe.
don't think it showed its attack hitting the guard scorpion. It showed the summoning and it
All
does
right, it
attack, but
did,
it
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
show what it attacks. So I just thought it was a cut of some other battle that they were just
Yeah.
showing, hey, there's also summons.
I'd have to
Because
check
they show
if the back.
Ifrit as well.
Yeah, I'd have to check the background if it's still there or not. But I mentioned this explicitly because there was a demo for the original Final Fantasy
Yes.
VII, and you had Aerith in your party there, so that you had 3 people you could battle with,
Yes.
and they were also able to summon Leviathan in battle, and
Okay.
they already had Fire 2, Blizzard 2, and
Oh,
Bolt
okay.
2. And I also saw Blizzara in there somewhere in the menu. I haven't had
Oh,
time to look quite into it, but I saw something that they're higher level
yeah.
spells. So it could be that this is a huge nod to the original demo,
That
which is
looks so
pretty cool.
cool.
But
Yeah,
I'm
that's
pretty sure
awesome.
this won't be the case when we actually get the game that Aerith will be there. However, in the CCO Discord, we chatted about that, and it could be that as soon as you unlock a character in the story, like after you meet Aerith for the first time in the church, from then on she's always available for battle. And if as soon as you get Tifa, she's always available for battle. So there's kind of a discrepancy between story and battles. So battles are kind of untethered to the story, maybe, so that you can put into your battle party whoever you want, even from other games, like from before Crisis or from Dirge of Cerberus or from Crisis Core or something. That's kind of who participates in battle is non-canon, but battles themselves are. Or maybe there's just one spot for a random character that you decide, and two of them are fixed or something.
Okay.
For some reasons. It could be. Maybe it's just really just a mock-up for the trailer, and you're never able to actually play as Aerith there or anywhere else where she's not around. This is all speculation, but it would make sense, because later I mentioned this later in the interview I'll go over, that the release structure kind of lends to this this concept that you can choose who to play with.
I like that.
Wouldn't be that bad. But still, it would kind of give more credence to this being a mobile title. Like, yeah, you can play through all those stories, but it's actually just a mobile title where you play and stuff, and there are microtransactions and maybe even gacha. I hope not. Yeah.
All right. So we are going to talk quickly about a Famitsu article that was released featuring Nomura. He did an interview, and I didn't have enough time to actually read the entire translation because it was in Japanese. And I know that Audrey had translated like little parts of it, just that she wanted to post. So I read a little bit about that, but I see that you have a lot written here. So why don't you go through some of the, I guess, the main points of the article?
Yes, for sure. She actually translated the whole article. I checked it and translated myself using DeepL, which is a pretty good translator. But then I noticed, she also posted the whole thing, so I just deleted it again and just used this one. So there are a few parts. One is about Yuffie's DLC, then First Soldier, then Ever Crisis, and then a little bit about Intergrade itself, like the name and stuff. So first about Yuffie DLC, or just Intergrade itself, like the upgrades. For photo mode, there won't be face or pose choices like in Kingdom Hearts 3, because you could change the facial expressions and the poses. I think in the Tomb Raider games, you could do that as well. But there's no plans for that. It's just more meant to be a tool to preserve memories. Like, I want to commit this shot or this area to memory. So you go in there, change the camera a little bit and the colors and stuff, and then this is now part of my memory. I say this explicitly with memory because memory is a big part of Final Fantasy VII's lore. So it's more like it's kind of like we take snapshots from the memory from the live stream and put it into our own materia in our brain or something. I don't know.
I love it.
Just some weird analogies. Now, the existence of Vyzz is there because Nomura wanted Cloud to give the opportunity to battle Vyzz. He even wanted or pressured the team ever since the release of the PS4 version. For whatever reason, he didn't say. But that's how the VR battle came to life. And he also says that his code is deliberate to give him some sense of richness, like in the battle, I guess. Because in the Dirge of Cerberus original game, he had no code. He was always topless.
Yeah.
And But he also keeps very close to his chest if we see Vyzz in Yuffie's DLC or not. He doesn't say. Like, it
Okay.
could be that he's there in some capacity, like around maybe in a cutscene or something, but he definitely confirms that he's not a boss. Like the main boss of Yuffie's story DLC is not Vyzz. We need to wait for more info on that.
Mm-hmm.
And what he also confirms is that the Avalanche members we see is a group different to Barrett's Avalanche. It's and also if we read the official synopsis or summary, it says that it's the main branch of Avalanche.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure. I'm pretty sure it's not the guys we see in chapter 4. It could be. I'm still on the fence about that. I need to do a little bit more research if it could be or not. But there are 4 people in there, and I think we see 4 people, or are there more in chapter 4? That's what I still need to check. I thought about it earlier today, but I haven't had time to check. So maybe this is an entirely different group again.
Mm-hmm.
And he also here confirms that Sonon is not playable, but you can issue commands as we talked about earlier. Now about the first soldier, he says that soldiers are undergoing or have to undergo various situations to experience realistic battles for their training. And this is kind of the basis for this Battle Royale game. There are also solo and trio battles, so either you have to battle against everyone and hope you are the victor in the end, or just groups of 3, and the group of 3 that prevails is the winner. It's kind of interesting. Are there also trios or group battles royales in other games? Because I don't really play them.
Yeah, they have this in Overwatch as well.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see. Okay, group
I think
duo,
it's,
trio.
yeah,
Or-
duos. They have that in Fortnite as well. It's called
cool.
duos. I think
Okay.
they have trios as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So they kind of copied this. That's what I was getting at. If it's something new they invented, or if it's something just ripped out of other battle royale games.
No, most of them all have these.
Okay, I
You
see.
could do solo 1v1,
Mm.
or you can do like 3v3. Sometimes it's just a deathmatch.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Which is every person for themselves.
Exactly. Yeah. Like battle royale in films, movies.
Yes, yes, that movie. Have you seen that Battle Royale?
Yeah, the I think there's one a Japanese
It's like Hunger
original,
Games, but more
there's
brutal.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think there's a Japanese one, and there's also is it an
Yeah, the
American remake or
Japanese
something?
one.
But it's pretty brutal. Yeah, it is.
The Japanese one was so good. Anyways, sorry.
Yeah. No worries. And what's also very interesting, it apparently incorporates RPG elements like leveling up, gathering items, and subduing monsters. So it kind of seems like there are 2 modes. One mode is the Battle Royale, and the other mode is just RPG alike, where you roam around, battle monsters, maybe alone, maybe with others to gain experience and better yourself.
Okay.
And maybe gain more equipments and items and stuff you can then use in Battle Royale. That's how it sounds to me. He didn't elaborate, unfortunately, but yeah, it's pretty an interesting concept if that's what it actually is, or maybe it's just within the Battle Royale fights that you can gather items there or level up in terms of surviving and getting experience there, or maybe there are monsters around as well, and if you kill monsters you get extra exp. That's also possible. We'll have to see, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it sounds cool.
Definitely. It's just still not my cup of tea, but I might watch a few videos to see how other people played, what it's all about, if there's actual story content outside of intro and ending movie or something. That's about it for First Soldier. Then he had a few things to say about Ever Crisis. So each chapter for each game in Ever Crisis can be played in any order, which is also interesting, and which is something I alluded to before. So there's no need to play through one game first before starting the next. So you can play zigzag through all games, which is also why I think it could be like you unlock characters along the way, and you can play with whomever you want. Because if you level up, if you learn new limit breaks and magic and stuff, which is also in there, you need to have a progression. And if you can go through any game and the story within a game in any order you want, you can't really go through or like really use predetermined battle formations. You kind of need to
Okay.
have your own. That's also why we
Hmm.
thought it might be this way. And it also, as I said before, it would fit into a mobile game concept, like game design, sort of like how is it called again? Record Keeper, I think. There's another one, Brave Exvius, where you can just choose your party as you see fit, and then go through. If there's, I don't know, is there even a story in Brave Exvius and Record Keep?
I have no idea because I don't play
Oh,
those.
okay, bummer.
Sorry.
I don't
Yeah.
either. So yeah, that's the thing. That's where I'm coming from with this concept. I don't think it would be that much of a problem because it's more like the story, more for the story
Yeah.
anyway, to experience the story for all those games again in one whole package. And he also says that Ever Crisis exists for especially one reason, and that is to act as a chronology to Final Fantasy VII, the complete
Hmm.
story. So this sounds to me that it's kind of meant to bring everyone up to speed within
Yeah.
one game, and it's easily accessible so that everyone can have more context to the remake, which makes sense if the remake is a sequel, as many are thinking, or at
Yeah.
least those who are into theorizing, as myself. Because then you need this previous timeline, that you need the whole compilation to have as a basis to the remake, because it's not the same. It's actually there are
Yeah.
different titles. And he also says that first Ever Crisis, First Soldier, and the remake are entirely separate entities.
Hmm.
And what I also have a feeling that, especially with this chapter-based approach, that it's meant to avoid spoilers for the remake. It starts in 2022. Like the
Yeah.
first chapters will release then, and then monthly new chapters. So then they have complete control over the release structure. What do we release first? Which story fragments do we release first? And let's say if Remake Part 2 releases in 2023, they can release all those chapters before that are not too spoilery or don't reveal major plot points
Yeah.
before that, and the rest later to give context to Remake Part 2. I have a feeling that they kind of weave those into each other a little bit, kind of.
Hmm.
Could be. And as I said before, I really hope there are no gacha mechanics, since it's a
Yeah.
mobile title and one with episodes, like the Pocket Edition. So it could be that all of those are free, but we can use or buy microtransactions for cheats or time savers, which I'm okay with, because then you can still play it
Yeah.
as you wish, because it is confirmed to be a single player game, not some sort of like multiplayer in some sort of way. It's really just a single player game. Or each episode has to be bought separately, like for $1, $2, or $3 or something like that, or
Yeah.
Canadian dollars, or euros, or pounds, what have you. And the first one is free. I think this is how
Okay.
Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition was priced. Like the first episode was free, and the other ones were paid, or you had to pay for the other ones, if I remember correctly. So there are those two variants I see. Either pay for each episode, or it's free and you can buy time savers and cheats. What else? All right, he also talked about the ATP system that is in there still to to keep it intact, and also all the other aspects, like as I said, limit breaks, magic, and weapons and items and stuff. But it seems like it's optimized for mobile. I haven't analyzed it much. I only remember the battle screen a little bit, but it has an ATB bar with 6 segments, and then underneath a few icons or buttons for actions you could take. So it is definitely a little bit different. Maybe you can just switch between the characters as you wish, and just press an action to use up ATB, and then switch characters, use this, like kind of a more fast-paced ATB, kind of like Final Fantasy 13, where you had 1 ATB bar,
Right.
and whichever commands you used. No, wait. I think each character had a separate ATB bar. I'm not quite sure. I don't remember it. It has been a while. But there were. I think they started with 2 or 3 ATB bars, and then where you leveled up, you gained ATB bars. And with the best weapon for each character, it's elevated from 5 to 6 ATB bars. Yeah, it was separate for each. Maybe it's even separate for each character here as well. But there are more, so that you can like press around with your fingers much faster, as you do in many mobile games. Just press around to activate this, to make it more fast-paced. I have a feeling it will be that way. But again, I still need to analyze this. And then there's also an interesting little tidbit about the 2D art avatars. If you remember, in certain cutscenes where they speak, you see a bigger 2D painted avatar, which look new. They're new avatars. And since everyone in the project was already occupied, they asked someone from a different project where Nomura is also involved if they could come along to draw the 2D avatars, because her draw style fits perfectly. So they took her also included her into this project to draw the 2D avatars. So it's pretty neat. I also like them, by the way. Barrett looks awesome.
Yeah, I think so too. They're really well done.
Yeah, exactly. And there's also one other thing I'm glad that he said. He talked about voice acting. And currently there are no plans, or they're not sure, but he thinks that they won't include any voice acting for the game besides battle lines in battle.
Okay.
And everything else will be mute, because we already see text boxes, so it is text-based. And I think this is a good choice if they go through with this, because in battles, they're just battle cries, maybe a few story-related lines, otherwise just random stuff that fits, which isn't...
Yeah.
It doesn't take too much time and effort and money. But if you have to voice all of the cutscenes of all those games, and the whole compilation story will be too much. And they also need to employ maybe even new voice actors, and even those who are now occupied with the remake itself. So, and it would also be a more accurate representation of the old games. Although there's a Cerberus and Crisis Core had voice acting, but before Crisis hadn't. The original hadn't. Advent Children had, but yeah. So I think to get everything on the same page, and since it is in a chibi style and has text boxes, I think no voice actors or no voice acting is the better choice for nostalgia's sake. And Battle Cries, yeah, that's more for immersion, I guess. But nothing's set in stone yet, so we'll have to see.
Yeah. I think that them recording voice acting for everything is just such a huge undertaking. I just don't see them doing that. I think, like you said, there's going to be voice acting in battles. A lot of the other games have voice acting in battles, but it's just,
yeah,
like you said, before Crisis, that doesn't, so they don't have anything at all that they can just take from to put in. So they might have to record some, but it's a lot less than just voice acting everything.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, which is just, I don't even think they're going to be able to do that and release it in 2022. I just don't see that possible. So
Also, I think certain characters have different voice actors in different games, like in Advent Children
exactly.
and Crisis Core. Aerith had different voice actors.
Yeah.
Tifa was the same, I think. Sephiroth had also different, like Advent Children, and in Crisis Core, Sephiroth's voice actor was also different. I don't remember the names, unfortunately,
Yeah.
but it was different.
But the voices are done for Remake, so I feel like they would
Yeah.
just take the Remake audio clips and put them in here.
The
In
text
battle,
is
like they kind of
in
talk
battle,
to each
yeah,
other
maybe.
in
Yeah.
battle is what I mean. So they already
Okay,
have
this
those
could be, yeah.
recorded. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Maybe
So they could
even
just
voice
plop
clips.
them over.
Maybe in voice clips from Crisis Core and there's a Cerberus and Advent Children
Exactly.
for certain characters,
They
maybe.
might be able to update them or kind of use some kind of technology to make them more high def and clear
Yeah.
sounding, maybe for the
Remastered.
older games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Without having to do the voice acting again, but
Yeah,
anyways,
exactly.
I guess we'll see.
I also wouldn't be mad if it is completely devoid of voices,
Yeah,
because
I would be
it
okay
really
with that.
seems to be the remake many within the fan base, especially the hardliners and the purists wanted.
Mhm. Yeah, it could be just like grunts and stuff. Like when they're
Mhm.
attacking, they're just
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And that's it. There's no like, because
Yeah.
then they don't have to do any. It's just sounds. Like there's
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
you know what I mean? Like there's no talking, so they wouldn't even be able to tell probably that it's a different voice actor.
Yeah,
If they have the and it's the same timbre of voice, it's harder for you to like
Mm.
determine who it is. But
Yeah, I guess we'll have
anyways,
to wait for more
Mhm.
information and for more trailers, I guess.
Yeah.
And then there are also two interesting pieces of information, one about Hamaguchi and one about Intergrade. So first, Hamaguchi will be the main director for Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. Nomura will be in or stay in the position of creative director for the remake and the mobile titles. So he has the main vision, and everything will be kind of then led by his vision and probably a few others. Also Hamaguchi and certainly Kitase. I'm pretty sure he will also provide some input, so that everything kind of has a certain coherence. And I'm pretty sure that Hamaguchi will honor what came before, and he was co-director here. So it was already a big part of the remake, and it was him who suggested that Sephiroth be the final battle. And Nomura said, "Well, why not do it?" And this is what we got. Some people would say, "Oh no, please no, Hamaguchi, what have you done?" But I'm pretty certain that part 2 will turn out just as well as the first part.
I think so. And like you said, the vision is intact now, and I
Yeah,
think that that's what Nomura really wanted, was just to establish the outlook and the vision of like
yeah,
what was going to
exactly.
happen.
The main direction is already done, as I've heard and as he has said. Like they know where it's going, and
Mm-hmm.
the main points have been established, so it should be good.
Yeah.
So yeah, as I wrote there, it's Nomura's involvement, I think, is basically just or like this change from director to creative director
Mm-hmm.
is more like just a formality. I have
Yeah.
a feeling formal change, like the responsibilities change a little bit, but his involvement, like in the creative process, is probably more or less unchanged. Now Integrate, we talked about it a little bit before, but
Mm-hmm.
Integrate is meant to be the middle point, like something within a gradient, like between point A and B, and also to move from one point to another. So from PS4 to PS5, and part 1 to part 2. So this kind of confirms that part 2 will also be PS5 exclusive, kind of soft confirms. And it's the middle point. Some people think that this is also the middle point in terms of release, so we might get part 2
Yeah.
next year. I don't think so. I have a feeling that it's
hmm
2023.
I don't think so. I think 2023 as well.
It will be great if it's next year, but don't get my hopes up, and I hope you all also don't.
Yeah, I think it's 2023 for sure.
Especially with the release date of Ever Crisis.
Yeah, exactly.
If part 2 would come out in 2022, I think we'd already have more information about it. Maybe even have the first teaser.
Yeah, I
Because
think so too.
part 1 was kind of re-teased, or the
hmm
PR role began its rollout in 2019 in May 9th with
Yeah.
State of Play, which is a little bit less than 1 year before the release. And then it went just crazy from there. So if it releases next year,
I don't think so.
if it's next year, like at the end of 2022, maybe, but yeah, it could be
I don't think so. I think we're gonna get Final Fantasy 16 in
first.
2022.
Yeah, the first quarter of 2022 is my current bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we're gonna get in Remake, not in Remake, but in 7, in the world of 7, we're getting the mobile games,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And we can play through those, and we have Intergrade now. We've got the Yuffie DLC. They could potentially release some more DLC.
Yeah,
Like
why
we
not?
got with Yuffie instead, it's like some other type of DLC where we can play as Red 13 maybe. Just to kind of give us a little taste of something that's in store. I don't know, for part 2 or whatever, but showing now to us that they have done DLC for this game kind of makes it, I feel like, it could be more likely that they would even do maybe more DLC, or maybe not. Who knows? It could mean nothing.
Yeah.
But
I have a feeling, or I tend towards no, because of 2 reasons. 1, resources. 2,
yeah,
they said Intergrade is meant to be the middle point. So
yeah,
Yuffie's
that's
DLC
true.
is the middle point. So if there's more, it wouldn't be the middle point anymore. So that's my
Yeah,
reasoning
that's
for
true.
this.
It could
Yeah.
be just like an exclusive DLC because
Yeah,
they
I'm
wanted
pretty
to.
sure, yeah. And it makes sense for Yuffie to be there.
Yeah.
The other characters less so. Maybe Sid, but not like this.
Well, I guess
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah. There's one more thing. Intergrade is also an allusion to Final Fantasy VII International, because the original Japanese release didn't include several things, including Ruby Weapon and Emerald Weapon, and therefore also not. I think the Master Material were also not there, and some other things. And then there was the international version, which included those and a few other things, and I think a little bit of gameplay tweaks. I'm not quite sure. I don't remember. Which then released in the West, like North America and eventually in Europe. And Intergrade is also kind of a version that has a bit more within. It looks better and has the Yuffie DLC instead of the new weapons. That has more content. But yeah, I've heard a lot that the Japanese love to create titles that are multifaceted, like Intergrade. It's the middle point, but it also means to move from one thing to another. But it's also an allusion to this, and
I think it sounds cool. I like it. I like it
I
more
like it.
than Definitive Edition.
Yeah, definitely. It doesn't really roll off the tongue this well, but Intergrade, I've come to like it.
I like it. Yeah.
It also kind of sounds like integrate, like integrate Yuffie into this new story and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
All right, guys. So that concludes our episode on our first impressions of Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. If you have any ideas for upcoming episodes, you can write us at thereunionpodcast@gmail.com. That's thereunionpodcast@gmail.com. Please go ahead and join our Discord server as well. There is a link to our Discord server that's listed in the description of every episode. Also, we have a Twitter account. It's @reunion_podcast, and we will be doing some giveaways there hopefully soon. So go ahead and follow us on Twitter for all of the information about that. We do have a Facebook. It's Reunion Podcast. We have a YouTube channel. It's The Reunion Podcast, and we post our episodes there as well. And you can check out the audio-only version of my cover for Hollow that was recently posted as well. We do have an Instagram account. It's @The Reunion Podcast. And Vyzz, did you want to drop your socials for Cosmo Canyon Observatory?
For sure. So it's Cosmo Canyon Observatory on YouTube, of course, which also has the links to other platforms like Twitter, where it is @cc_observatory. I personally am still on Twitter as @Vyzz, but nobody can spell this, so just ignore it. Yeah, and then of course our Discord server, where there's also an invitation link on our YouTube page in the title banner or on every single video in the description.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Vyzz, for taking the time out to sit with me today to talk about Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. I can't wait to see, what we get in the next 3 months, and I can't wait to get my hands on this game and also a PS5. If somebody can find me one out there, if somebody wants to find me one and buy me one and then mail it to me, one of our listeners, I would definitely appreciate that. All right, guys. So this is Kai. I am signing off. All the best.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
I would be lost, drifting along, floating up high, time after time. There you'd be, shining brightly, your smiling face to guide my way. Bloody and bruised, brought to my knees when beaten down, when broken up, you would appear, reach out to me, heal every wound, and make me whole. Was it all a dream? Will I never know? Foolish and blind to everything. Had I realized, had I thought through, would you be here in my embrace? Smile, hiding something more. Dark mysteries lurking beneath. But I was consumed with this emptiness.